Let's start the Maimer in Amorim Lukotim. We'll do for the Parshas Vayera. Shabbos Parshas Vayera, Chop Mrcheshvan, Tovshin Lamed Zayin. And then it was printed, the Rebbe looked it over and it was printed in Tovshin Mem Zayin, 10 years later, for Parshas Vayera. Chop Cheshvan, of course, is the birthday of the Rebbe Rashab. So this is a Maimer that is associated with the Rebbe Rashab. The Maimer is based on the Maimer, on the Hemshech Samach Vov, the famous Hemshech of Tofresh Samach Vov, which the Rebbe Rashab said over several years. And the Rebbe is going to discuss actually two of the Maimorim that are associated with the Parshas Vayera and the differences between them. And the Rebbe is going to explain why these Maimorim are different, how they explain different parts. As Rebbe explains the Maimer. All right, so let's learn the Maimer inside now. P'siyate d'shmaya, Shabbos, Parshas, Vayera, Chof, Mrcheshvan, h'tavshin lamed zayin. So the Pasuk says, this was before Hashem is going to destroy Zdoim and Amorah. So the Pasuk says, V'Hashem Omar, Hashem says, Hamechase ani me'Avraham goimer. Will I cover and not tell, reveal to Avraham what I'm about to do? And then the Pasuk continues, Avraham was pleading with Hashem, if there is 50 tzaddikim and etc., trying to save what he can. And the Pasuk continues, what's Avram's specialty? Avram is destined to be into a great nation. And the Pasuk says, Ki yedaitiv, because I know him, or I love him. As we'll see, the Rebbe will bring down the different taichin in yedaitiv. Yedaitiv, I know him, I know Avram, I love Avram. Why do I love Avraham? Leman asher yitzah begoimer, because he will command. And then the pasuk says he will command his children, his descendants that follow, v'shomru derech havayim, and they will keep the path, the derech, that path of Hashem. What is the derech Hashem? What is the path of Hashem? Seems that the Maimer, the Pasuk explains, Lasso is tzedakah u'mishpat, to do righteousness and justice, to do tzedakah and mishpat goimer. Hashem says he loves Avram, he knows Avram because he's going to command his children that they should keep the road of Hashem, the way of Hashem, to do righteousness and justice. Go ahead. So the master of the birthday, that's the Rebbe Rashab, in his Maimer that opens up with this Maimer, with the words Vashem Omar Amchasani Avraham, which the Rebbe said, Dishnas Tofreish Samach Zayin. So this was the second year of that Hemshech, Behemshech Tofreish Samach Vov. He started the saying that Hemshech in the year Tofreish Samach Vov. This Maimer is in the year Tofreish Samach Zayin, a year later. The Rebbe will later on compare the Maimer that the Rebbe said in Vayera Tofreish Samach Vov to the Maimer he said in Vayera in Tofreish Samach Zayin, the differences. But here, the Rebbe is quoting from the year Tofreish Samach Zayin. So what did he say? The Bal Yom HaLedes, the Rebbe Rashab in the Maimer in Tofreish Samach Zayin. He asked a question over there. The question is, when the pasuk says "V'shomru derech Havaya," that he's going to command his children to keep the road of Hashem. What is the road of Hashem? Of course, the road of Hashem is Torah and mitzvahs. That's the road. What's the pathway? What is the road that Hashem has given to Avram and his children? That's the road of Torah and mitzvahs. So what is the addition that it says, Lasois Tzedako Mishpat? That's already the Derech Hashem. So he says over there, Harei Derech Havaya. Zehu Torah mitzvahs, but the Derech Havaya is Torah mitzvahs, that is the way, the road of Hashem. V'imkein ma'moisif ha'kosov, in that case, so what is the pasuk adding? B'lasoi tzedakah goimer, to do tzedakah mishpat, inyan ha'mitzvahs, to do righteousness. Mitzvahs are called in the name of tzedakah. So why is the pasuk saying it seems like something already derech Hashem means to keep the mitzvahs, Torah mitzvahs? So why does he have to specify? What does he say tzedakah mitzvahs? So what does it add? Al v'shamru derech Havaya. What does this add to say lasei tzedakah mishpat on top of v'shamru derech Havaya? Shamru derech Havaya is to do Torah mitzvahs. What does he explain over there? So he explains in the Maimer that the road of Hashem, that's sort of the instruction. The Eibishter from above, Milmaila, gave us the Torah and the mitzvahs, what we should do. That is the road. But we have to actually do the Torah mitzvahs. So that's the return. The Torah mitzvahs is the road where it comes from Hashem to the world. And Shamru and Lasei Tzedakah Mishpat is what we do, Milmatalim Bayim. Mevayer Shom explains over there. The Derech Havaya, Hi Hamshocha Milmayla Lamato. That's the Hamshocha from above to below. Utzedakah Mishpat, and Tzedakah Mishpat, Hi HaAvoida, that's the Avoida, the service that we do, B'chinas Milmata L'mayla, from below to above, which is called HaAvoida, the Erchaizer, the service of the returning light. We have, it bounces off. It's like a shine. You bring the light from the top again out to the bottom, and then it bounces off and it returns light. The light comes from Hashem, and the Erchaizer is when we do Tzedakah Mishvat, when we do the actual mitzvahs. Based on this, over there it's explained, Gam hashaychus de v'shomru derech Havaya lasei tzedakah mishpat, to keep the derech Havaya to do tzedakah mishpat, the mashakosu lifnei zeh v'Havaya omer amchas anim Avram gemer. So the Maimer over there, he connects it back also based on this interpretation that when it says in the beginning, Hamachas, Hashem says, Hamachas ani me'Avram, so that you have over there this level of Hamachas ani me'Avram comes through the Erchaizer, as he explains in the Maimer over there. Now the Rebbe is going to say that this same posik, the Rebbe Rashab also addressed with the similar questions. In the first year, he said the Maimer, in the Tofresh Samach Vov, in the Parshas Vayera. Over there, he has a little bit of a different explanation. And the Rebbe is going to reconcile in this Maimer the differences between the first mimer that he said the year before and the mimer he said the year later. V'hinei haposik yedaitiv goimer v'shomru derech havaya lasis doko mishpat. This posik that we're talking, nisbayer behemshech hanal, in that hemshech of samach vov, b'divra hamaschil ki yedaitiv dishnas tofreish samach vov. Over there, the mimer begins with the words ki yedaitiv. In Vayera, Tofresh Samach Zayin, it begins with Vashem Omar Hamachasa. But in Tofresh Samach Vov, the first year, he begins it with the opening of the Posik, Ki Yedaitiv. He doesn't explain Hamachasa over there. It doesn't start with Hamachasa. He starts with Yedaitiv, which is the Maimer, the Shabbos Parsha Vayera Harishon Shebehemshech. That's the Maimer of Parsha Vayera, the first Vayera. The second Vayera in Samach Zayin is what we started discussing in this Maimer. And now the Rebbe is bringing down the first Maim Shabbos Vayesha Be'emshach. O Maimer Zeh, Maimer the Shabbos Parshas Vayera Hasheni Be'emshach. And in this Maimer, which is the second Maimer of Vayera in the Hemshach that we're learning over here, Mevayer HaPosik Ba'ifun Achar. He explains the Posik different than he explained it the year before. Different in a few ways. First of all, it's a different start of the Maimer. So in addition to the different start, Noisef al Zeh, in addition to this, Shemaimer Harishon Maschil Beposik Ki Yedaitiv. The first Maimer starts with the Posik Ki Yedaitiv. Umaimer Hasheni Maschil Beposik Vayomar Amachasani V'goimer starts with the Posik Vayomar Amachasa. So it starts earlier, the second Maimer in the Posik. Hinegam beposik yidaitiv gufa, within the posik yidaitiv, the maimer hasheni mefarish ba'ofen achar. In the second maimer, he explains it a little bit different. The maimer harishon, in the first maimer, maybe Shnei Pirushim B'chi Yidaitiv. The first Maimer, he brings down two interpretation. What does it mean, Ki Yidaitiv? Pirush HaTargum, the explanation of the Targum, it says, She Yidaitiv Hu Loshen Yidia. I know him. Basically saying, I know him. As the Targums explains, it's revealed before me. I know that Avram will teach his children this. That means Yedaitiv. I've known him. I know him. That's one pshat that he brings down. And then he brings down Upirush Rashi, also Rashi's interpretation, Sheyedaitiv hu loshoin chiba. That Yedaitiv is a language of dearness. Yedaitiv, I love him. I love Avram. So Yedaitiv, one, I know him, and I love him. So, two interpretations. Omevayer Sham, in the first Maimer he explains that what are these two levels of I know him and I love him? The Yedaitiv Loshin Yediya Hu Inyan Rotzain Ha'atzmi. That is that I know him. That is the essence of the will of Hashem comes revealed. Hashem says that my Rotzen, the essence of the Rotzen, is Yedaitiv. I know I revealed the Zehu. This is what means Ari Goli Kodomai. It's revealed before me. Ki Horotzoin Hu B'Hizgalus. So that basically means that Hashem's Rotzen in Avram is in a revealed way. That is the level of Rotzen. First touch of Yediyah. And the Yedaitiv Loshen Chiba and the daitiv level hu inyan tainug atzmi. That's the level of the tainug, level of delight. You have rotzen and tainug. Yediyah is rotzen, and chiba, which is the targum, is rotzen, and Rashi is tainug. Those are the two levels. So that's the way the first Maimer explains the posik Yidait. Mashenken be Maimer Hasheni, which the Rebbe will all explain. All these ideas, the Rebbe will explain in the Maimer. That's what the Rebbe is trying to do with this Maimer, to reconcile and explain these two differences in the Maimer. Mashenken be Maimer Hasheni, as opposed to in the second Maimer. Mefarish, over there, he just says, Yedaitiv Loshen Chiba. He says, I know him. That's a language of chiba, of love, of dearness. Shechibev oisoi b'bchinas tainug ha'atzmi, that he did know tainug ha'atzmi. Doesn't discuss about the rotzen. He doesn't discuss the taich of the targum. It just talks about the loshen of chiba. So that's another difference. So we have already the different heading of the Maimer. And also that in the first Maimer, he brings down two taichin in the word Yedaitiv, and the second Maimer, only one. V'oid chiluk bein shnei ha-Maimorim. And there's another difference between these two Maimorim. Behapirush, how to interpret the Vishamru derech Havaye lases tzedako mishpat. How to interpret that part of the pasuk. The pshat in the pasuk is that they should keep the derech havaya. He asked the question, why do we have to specify, the Rebbe brought down from the second Maimer that we're learning here, why does he have to specify Lasa Tzedakah Mishpat when we already know the pasuk derech havaya? That is the derech havaya. So the way we're learning it, that Lasa Tzedakah Mishpat is not separate from derech havaya. Derech havaya is interpreted Lasa Tzedakah Mishpat, and that the pasuk says to keep the derech Hashem, to do Tzedakah Mishpat, which means that Tzedakah Mishpat is elaborating and explaining what the derech havaya is. That's the way it's mashma in the first Maimer. The Maimer Harishon mashma kepashtus loshen hakosuf ukemavur gamu kamedrushim. It's also some of Maimorim. The last is tzedakah umishpat, to do tzedakah mishpat hu hapirush the v'shamru derech havaya. That is explains shamru derech havaya, which is last is tzedakah mishpat. Oi, so either it is a pirush, or tzedakah mishpat uprat b'derech havaya, or tzedakah mishpat are a detail. The derech havaya is the general. The detail is what is this path, tzedakah mishpat. Either it explains, but it's all hemshech of derech havaya. Derech havaya explained is tzedakah mishpat, or derech havaya, the generally specific. There is details in the derech tzedakah mishpat. What would be the prat? The Rebbe explains derech hagav now. What would be the prat? Yesh loymar, so we can say shederech havaya loshen yochid. So we say tzedakah mishpat is two, but the derech is one derech. What is the loshen yochid? Hi Torah. Derech, the path, that's the Torah. The teaching of Torah is b'chinas klal shalamayla mehis chalkus. That's a general without division. It's higher then dividing up into specifics. It's Torah. Umizeh nimshach, and from this extends lasis tzedakah. Tzedakah references all the mitzvahs, which is asiyas hamitzvahs, that is doing the mitzvahs. So the derech is Torah, lasis tzedakah is to do mitzvahs, which is Ramach, Evorim de Malka, Evorim Protim. Mitzvahs are 248 limbs of the king. Specific limbs, Torah is the general, bringing down Hashem, not any specific, the Torah, which brings down Hashem in general. And Lasei Tzedakah is specifics, which is the 613 limbs. Those are the various different kinds of mitzvahs. That's the way it's in the first Maimer. But in this Maimer, the Shabbos Parsha Vayera Hasheni Sheba'emshech, in the second Maimer of the Vayera in the Hemshech, Mevair over there he explains what is the Lasis Tzedakah Gomer. What does it mean, Lasis Tzedakah? It doesn't explain the Hemshech of Derech Havaya, but it's a whole new avodah of Milmata L'mayla. So he explains the Lasis Tzedakah. Im heyesh shebo behemshech levishamru derech Havaya, even though it comes as a continuation. The pasuk says vishamru derech Havaya, so you would expect that Lasis Tzedakah should be a detail or a specific of the Shamru Derech Havaya. No, Huloi Pirush. It doesn't explain what the Derech Havaya, oi Prat the Derech Havaya. But he explains it differently. In this Maimer, the second Maimer, he explains El Shu'inya Noisaf. It's an additional, it's something new, an additional. After we keep the Derech Havaya, which is the first part of the pasuk, which is Hamshacha Milmayla Lamata, which is the Hamshacha from above to below. Then you reach to even a higher level, Lasis Tzedakah. To do Tzedakah, Avodah Milmata Milamayla. To do Milmata Lamayla. So the Rebbe basically pointed out to three differences between the first Maimer and the second Maimer. The heading of the first Maimer is Ki Yedaitiv, and the second Maimer is like our Maimer. Hashem Omer Amachasa Nime Avram. The first Maimer, over there, he teaches both, that he teaches Yedaitiv and both from love and no, which is the Rotzin and Tainug, but in the second Maimer he only talks about the level of Tainug Atzmi. And the third Chiluk the Rebbe brought down now is that over there, Lasei Tzedakah Mishpat are a detail explaining the pasuk. Over here, it's a new avodah. It's an avodah milmata l'mayla. So this is the question base. So the Rebbe says, "V'yuvan kol zeh al pi hamevur b'dibur hamaschil." We can understand this based on what's explained in the Maimer, which begins Zocher Tofreish Ayin Ches. That was in the Tofreish Ayin Ches. Later on, the Bal Yom HaHa'iledes, to the Yom Ha'iledes to the Rebbe Rashab. Also, but he explains over there on the pasuk v'shamru derech Havaya. Ubaruch, and also in the great length, it's B'Biuri HaZoyar La'admur HaMtzoyi in the Gurus of the Mittler Rebbe. Allah pasuk over there Ki Yishorim Darchei Havaya. So we talk about a derech. What is a road? What is a pathway? This is Rebbe going to explain in that Maimer of a derech. The Mittler Rebbe is Yoshan Darchei Havaya, what is a roadway in the spiritual context? So he says, what is a road? A road connects different places. So you have the big city where the king is, and from the king, there's a city from the big city goes out to the other big cities, from the other big cities to the smaller villages. So roads are the connecting pieces. You connect extremes from ones that not only places that are distant physically, but also metaphorically distant in their spiritual level. And also, this is the connection. The derech of Hashem is to connect the Ein Sof with this world, which are great distances, both in the spiritual level and in conceptually, they're very, very far apart. So he explains over there the inyan derech l'maylo, who bedugmas derech kipshute begashmis. It's similar to a road, literally gashmis. What is a road? A road is intermediary that connects two places. On their own, they're far from each other. They're totally distant. Take, for example, Derech HaMelech, the main road, the road of the king, the main road, that extends and goes from the city of the government, from the capital of the city, the place where the king sits, the road from there goes to all the width of the country. Through that road, you reach all the great cities, the big cities. And then from this big road, branch out additional roads, unisivas and pathways. Shal Yodom, through these new roads, through these branches and these pathways, Shal Yodom, Yecholim Lagia La Yoris Haktanis V'chulu, through them you can reach the small cities, Ad Lepino Achin Nedachas, until a corner which is totally in the far away. So the Harichuk Shebeina Yoris Haktanis, the distance between these small cities, and for sure, when you talk about that pushed away, forsaken corner or far away, Le'ir Habira, to the city of the capital where the king is, it's not just a distant in space, it's also a distant in idea. The distant Lirabira Moka Meshav HaMelech, to the place where the king sits. In addition to being far away space-wise, that it's far away, it's also gamrichuk b'mayla. It's also far in advantage. It's a faraway corner. The city where the king is on a much higher level than this faraway corner. It's such a distance that it's uncomparable. So what does the road do? Through the intermediary, through the road, that brings a tie and a connection, the Pina Hanidachas, from the far corner, with the place where the king sits. That's the purpose of a road, to connect the extreme faraway places. And this is also explains to us on the level of creation of the world and the hamshachas that come into the world. The kav, that line that comes from the infinite light of Hashem, is called Nikra B'Shem Derech. That kav is called the Derech. Why? It's the connecting piece. That's the intermediary. That kav, that's the intermediary. Shal Yodei Nimshach Me'erin Sof Lo'ilamos. Through that kav, it comes down from the Ein Sof to the worlds. So what does it mean? It's not only that it was created through the kav, but that's the continuous pipeline. That's the derech, which all the hamshachas come. In addition to the fact that the creation of the worlds, which is hamshachas oirin sof lahavas oilamis, to bringing down the oirin sof to create worlds, hu al yidei hamtzos hakav, that is through the intermediary of the kav. So that's the way the world was created. That aspect, the Indians, that is through the externality of the Kav, which is the Hamshocha from the Ein Sof to the world. The Shorshay, the root of the Chitzonis Akav, whom Malchus the Ein Sof. That is the level of Malchus Ein Sof. That's the connecting of Ein Sof with the world, but it's Malchus the Ein Sof. So besides that first connection of Malchus the Ein Sof through the Kav, which connected to create worlds, Harei al Yidei HaKav Naseh, Gam Hamshoches HaGiluyim, the Ein Sof B'Ilmes. Through this Kav, through this Derech, through this Memutzer, connecting piece, that also brings about the Hamshocha, the Giluyim of Ein Sof in the world. The Inyan Zeh, but that aspect, why they Pnimiyas HaKav, that's the inner of the Kav. The Shorshoy, the inner of the Kav, is Mitiferes Hanelam. That's the hidden Tiferes. The Chitzonis HaKav is Malchus the Ein Sof. Just like in Malchus, the Sfiras HaMalchus is the last of the Sfiras. In Atzilus, it's also the last of the Malchus the Ein Sof. The Pnimiyas HaKav is higher, is from the level of Tiferes, just like Tiferes is higher than the Malchus. That's Tiferes Hanelam, as the Rebbe will explain further on, and we will continue. Okay?
Okay. So,
Okay.
yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you.